here's something that I have found in life, and I've lived life long enough to have an understanding that some people quit. A lot of times they quit because things are out of their control. You say, Pastor, what are you saying? No, think about this. Nobody quits what you can control. But when it gets out of your control, a lot of times we end up quitting. John Maxwell makes this statement, and I've used it many times. The issue is very seldom the issue. Control is the issue. If somebody cannot have control, and let me just lay it out for you, because a lot of times the moment that people don't get their way or they end up getting corrected, the first thing that the immature mind says is, you know what, this is ridiculous, I'm not doing this, I quit. It's amazing when you think about it and you come to church, and we're going to get into the message, but just let me talk for a few moments. It's amazing that when we come to church that we always talk about the sins of the flesh. We always talk about the things that we can see, that so many times the weakening of the spirit can get passed by. We don't even really pay attention to any of that. It goes undetected. In fact, in today's society, you can actually, it seems as if, as long as you aren't murdering anybody, you can pass as a Christian. In today's society, it seems like as long as you're not doing anything horrific, then you can pass as a perfect saint, that you are somebody that you are on fire for God. You can be well as it relates to visible sin, but sometimes we have to understand some things attack your flesh, but then there's other things that attack your spirit. And something I have noticed, and just bear with me, it's just come from experience. At times, people who have a tough time controlling their fleshly sins can have real good character in other areas of their life. While other people who don't smoke, drink, or chew, or date women that do, I figured I could get a response from you. You don't really figure out what's wrong with them until you hang out with them for a little while. Now, they will pass as holy until you begin to spend a little bit of time with them and you find out that they won't keep their word. You find out that they won't complete the assignments that they have been given. You find out that you cannot trust them to stand by you. I mean, they come across as holy. They come across as everything is great. But all of a sudden you spend some time with them and there's some things that you just, it's like something just isn't right, and then you begin to know him. Now, here's the thing. There is no way that they would ever take a drink, but they would never stand up and fight a Goliath with you either. This is not the message. And I have to be honest with you, I would rather have the other person in a dogfight than somebody that is morally good, but their character is so flawed, you never know what they're going to do from one moment to the next. I don't know about you all, but I've had friends in my life, I'd rather have them with me in the middle of a fight than I'm going to give you a little background. I don't know, some of you know, some of you don't know about my parents. My dad has been gone, my wife and I, in fact, were talking yesterday. Our dads have been gone, they died 6 weeks apart, been gone over 20 years now. My dad had Alzheimer's. He was really gone probably 5 years before he died, if you know what I mean. And I can remember, the day having to put my father in a nursing home. He was a hard worker his whole life, put him in a nursing home. At a relatively, now I look at it, and it's a relatively young age. He was in his 60s. And it had gotten to the point where my mom was not able to care for him at home because he would get violent. Now, normally he was not a violent person, so I don't want to paint a bad picture of my dad. But that's what Alzheimer's done for him. And my mom, I can remember we would take shifts to go feed him and take care of him. And I can remember going to the nursing home, and I can remember seeing people. And it was so sad because you would see people, and we would be in the dining area, and you would see elderly people sitting there with nobody coming to see them. Nobody came to visit them. They would wait to be fed until one of the nurses had time to feed them. We would be feeding my dad. We would help with some others, but you would see that. And I began to think about that, and I began to think, you know what? My mom took care of him all the way till the end. In other words, she didn't quit. She didn't throw in the towel. She didn't say, well, he don't know who I am, so I'm no longer going to take care of him. But she did not quit. She stayed till the very end of him passing. Now, I want to shift gears, and I want us to look at the book of 2 Timothy. Here's a unique thing about 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter. I'm going to just read one verse, but I'm going to kind of lay a little groundwork. Now, here's the unique thing about this. I had put this message together, and then yesterday, none of you or very few of you know him. Yesterday, I got in contact with a gentleman that used to be my mentor. He was a spiritual father to me. I still look at him as a spiritual father. I still look at him as a mentor. I had not been in contact, and it was only through Facebook that my wife found him. He lives in another state. I had never been in contact with him for the last 18 years. I'd never heard his voice. I'd never saw his picture. I had never talked to him for over 18 years. And so I was able to connect with him through Facebook, and I messaged him and I said, I would love to hear from you. Here's my number. I didn't hear a response for a day, and I thought, well, I guess maybe he's too busy or doesn't want to talk. And then I got a text yesterday, and it said, what a delight. I would love to hear from you. Here's my number. When can you call me? And I said, I will call you. And I set a time yesterday afternoon, and I called him. Now, you got to understand something. This is a voice that spoke into my life every day. This is a voice that took me from being not in ministry at all to being a youth pastor in order to start, and then become a pastor. He is one of the main reasons, if not the reason, I stand before you tonight. And so I have not heard his voice for 18 years, and I heard his voice for the first time. And he and I spoke for over an hour and a half, and we laughed and we cried. And I could still hear in his voice, I told my wife, I said, he would still drop nuggets, and you would go, oh, wow, that was something. And then I would say something, he'd say, man, that's good, Bob. He was my mentor. As I talked to him farther, I found out that he is now blind. He can barely see out of one eye with a magnifying glass up close. Knowing that, I had already put this message together, and I thought, isn't it amazing how God does this? Because the setting that we are looking at tonight, we find where Paul is talking to his spiritual son. And so 2 Timothy, the 4th chapter, we find the setting, and Paul is writing. He is writing to Timothy. Paul is in a Roman prison, and he's writing to Timothy. And I like to kind of dream. I don't know about you, but when I read Scripture, I kind of like to think what it might have been like. And it really clarified to me after talking to my mentor yesterday and not hearing his voice for that long. It really brought this passage to life for me. And so we find beginning, and I'm not going to read them all. I'm actually going to read one verse. But we find in this setting, beginning in 2 Timothy 4, Paul is writing to Timothy, and he said, Timothy, he said, I want you to preach the word. See, I could just hear my mentor say, Bob, I want you to preach the word. So he said, Timothy, I want you to preach the word. He said, in fact, and you will know the passage, he said, I want you to be instant in season and out of season. In other words, he's saying, whenever it's good for you, I want you to preach the word. Whenever it feels like all hell's breaking loose, guess what? I want you to preach the word. When people are applauding you, I want you to preach the word. When everybody doesn't applaud, you know what, Tim? I want you to go on and preach the word. He goes on to say, and if we are not living in this day and time today, I don't know when would be a different time. But he went on to say to Timothy, he said, there is going to come a day when he said there are going to be people who are not going to adhere to sound doctrine. He said, Timmy, I want you to preach the word, because there's going to come a day when folks are going to sit inside a church and they're going to go, don't tell me what I need to hear, tell me what I want to hear. He said, there's going to be a day when people are going to heap unto themselves teachers having itching ears. They're going to go everywhere searching for somebody that will tell them what they want to hear, that will fit into the lifestyle that they want to live. And Paul is telling Timothy, he's saying, Tim, and I can just imagine as he's writing this down, because you got to think he's in a prison, he's got time. And as he's writing this down, and he gets to the point, and he's letting Timothy know, you know what, my life's about over. I'm about finished. But then the passage that I want us to look at tonight, and I want to kind of unpack for the next few minutes, is verse 7. He said, I fought a good fight. I've finished my course. Timothy, I want you to know I kept the faith. I didn't quit. I kept the faith. And so can you imagine, as Paul is writing, again, he's in this prison and he's writing, and I can imagine he's almost reminiscing about past battles. He's looking at it and he's thinking, my goodness, Tim, you need to understand something. It's going to be a fight. And no doubt he might have had a smile on his face. Just go with me and let's dream for a minute. Paul might have had a smile on his face when he was thinking about the times that he was being persecuted. And I know we don't smile at those moments, but when he was in the heart of that Philippian prison with Silas, and he's thinking to himself, I can remember when we were singing and all of a sudden things began to shake and the doors started to open up. And I can almost imagine that he's smiling as he's writing, Tim, you know what? I fought a good fight. I really did fight. I can think about when Paul was in a shipwreck and he went and he fixed up some firewood, and all of a sudden a viper grabbed a hold of his arm, and the Bible said Paul just shook it off. Can you imagine that maybe he was just smiling and saying, hey, Timmy, guess what? I fought a good fight. You know what? In fact, Tim, you got to understand, I want you to preach the word. Tim, it's not easy being me. It's not easy being somebody that will stand up for the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But Tim, I want you to know that I fought a good fight, baby. I didn't give up. I did whatever I needed to do. And now, Tim, I need you to do the same thing. And so tonight, how many of you in here tonight will say, I'm a fighter? I mean, how many of you will really say, I'm a fighter? That you say, you know what, Pastor, there are some things. I fought to get my feet. I fought to get where I am today. I don't know about you, but I fought depression. Some of you fought addiction. Some of you fought different battles in your life. Some of you fought anxiety. Some of you fought sickness. Some of you fought doubts that you had. Some of you fought haters. I fought having to go through my name being slammed all over Facebook about decisions I made. I had to fight different things, but you know what? I fought. I said, I'm fighting. I'm not giving up. And Paul is telling Timothy, don't you dare quit. Don't you dare give up. You need to be a fighter. Because in the midst of a struggle, in the midst of all the tears, I know you. you continued to fight. Now here's what I notice. When we're in the middle of a battle, we're not usually smiling. How many of you would say, I went through some tough stuff and it was pretty funny? No, it wasn't funny. But once we get through the battle, once we figured out that, you know what, God's never going to fail me, that he's never, then all of a sudden we get a smile that comes over us and we begin to smile and say, boy, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough, but you know, I fought a good fight. I didn't give up. I didn't throw the towel in. I should have. Everybody thought I was going to, but I fought a good fight. When everybody thought I was going to quit, guess what? I fought a good fight. When everybody was slamming me, I still fought a good fight. Whenever you thought that nobody loved you, guess what? You fought a good fight. Whenever you were going through that divorce, you fought a good fight. Whenever you were sick and the doctors didn't give you hope, you fought a good fight. And because of that, I look at some people that call things a fight and that looks normal to me. That's just normal because I fought a good fight. And so the old man in this text is telling the young man, he said, Timmy, I fought a good fight. You might not have seen it. See, because all you saw was the healings. All you saw maybe was the glamour. And Timmy, let me tell you something. There's some things in my life that you didn't see, and I had to fight to do that. See, a lot of times if we're not careful, and well, pastor's up on the stage, let me help you. I had to fight to get here. I had to fight to do this. And some of you had to fight. You say, man, I've finally got a nice house, but you had to fight to get that house. My marriage is doing good now. Yeah, but you had to fight for that to happen. I finally got a good job, but you fought to make that happen. Y'all didn't see everything that went on. You might see my glory, as T.D. Jakes said, but you don't know my story. Timmy, you didn't see all the times that I had to fight. He said, I fought a good fight. But he didn't stop there. He said, I kept the faith. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of strength. I lost a lot of courage. I lost a lot of time. I even lost a lot of money. But you know what? Through it all, I kept the faith. I had ones that didn't agree, but you know what? I kept the faith. I had ones that hated on me, but I kept the faith. I had ones that thought they knew how to do it better, but I kept the faith. I had ones that weren't for me, and I kept the faith. I had ones that beat me down at work. This is you. I kept the faith. I just kept the faith. I had a bad diagnosis, but I kept the faith. I was fighting an abusive spouse, but I kept the faith. I was fighting with an addiction, but you know what? I kept the faith. Fear was trying to overtake me. Come on, somebody. But I kept the faith. I just kept the faith. Down on my knees, I was believing. When I didn't have two dimes to rub together, you know what? I was still believing. While I was being betrayed, I was still believing. I kept the faith. I kept doing it. I kept worshiping. I kept praising God. I kept saying, it doesn't matter if COVID comes or COVID goes. I'm going to keep the faith. It doesn't matter whether it's packed or it's not. I'm going to keep the faith. You say, Pastor, what are you saying? Hear me tonight. If you lose your job, keep the faith. If you lose your spouse, keep the faith. If you have to downsize in this economy, keep the faith. If you have at your wits' end, keep the faith. If your automobile breaks down and you got a thumb to get it right, keep the faith. Whatever it is. If you get sick, keep the faith. What are you saying, Pastor? Be a keeper of the faith. Because this day and time, nobody wants to keep the faith. Because when the fight starts, we live in a society today that would rather quit than fight. And Paul said, Timothy, it's about done for me. But here's what I need you to do. I need you to keep preaching. I need you to fight a good fight. People say, man, it's a fight, Pastor. Yeah, it's a fight. That's why Paul said, I fought a good fight. It's a fight. But then he goes on to say, he said, Tim, I not only fought a good fight, I kept the faith, but I finished my course. Here's the sad thing. We live in a world today that people are comfortable with quitting. They're comfortable with quitting. It's fine. I mean, folks are comfortable with living lives of incompletes. They don't care. It's like I just don't. But nobody can count on them to stay. They just want to leave. Let me say something. Hear me very closely tonight. Forget winning. Just stay. No, come on, forget winning, just stay. You just need to stay. Forget winning, because today you cannot count on folks to stick it out, to just say, you know what, I'm going to stick this thing out. You can't count on folks past happy. Used to, people would get divorced because there was infidelity or there was some kind of abuse, but now people are getting divorced because they're not happy. You're not happy. Hear me. Nobody promised us we would be happy. Nobody promised us. What does that have to do with anything? What does it have to do with anything? I'm not happy. Think about this. Who do you know in your life that is happy all the time? I don't know of anybody that's happy all the time. And people today quit because they're not happy. They just say, well, I'm not happy. Let me help you tonight. Nobody's happy all the time. Most of the people that come in and you say, well, they're happy all the time. No, they're not. They're just good at hiding it. They're not happy all the time. And so today people go, I'm not happy, I'll quit. I'm not happy there. I'm not happy here. I'm not happy at that job. I'm not happy in the marriage. And so they just quit. To the person who keeps quitting, you have to live the entirety of your life, if you have that propensity to quit, to never finish anything. Paul said, I love this part, and think about this with me. Paul said, I finished my course. Notice he said that. In fact, say that with me. I finished my course. Now, come on, let's say it. I finished my course. I finished my course. I didn't finish your course. He said, I finished my course. In other words, he said, I'm not in your business. I finished my course. Hear me tonight. I'm not trying to finish your course. I'm having enough trouble finishing my course. I'm not in your business trying to finish I'm trying to finish mine. I don't have time to worry about what you've got going on in your house. I'm busy trying to manage what's going on in my house. It's all I can do to finish my course. So Paul looked at him, he said, I finished my course. Here's what I found out about people that are trying to finish their course. They're not busy trying to be in somebody else's business. Well, you know what? I think they ought to do this, and I think they ought to do that. Finish your course. Well, I think I drove by their house, and I said, finish your course. We find where the Apostle Paul went through some tough times, and the Bible said he had a thorn in his flesh, and he prayed for the Lord to remove it. And I can just imagine, he's saying, man, Timmy, I got so discouraged, and I got so depressed after I saw everybody else getting healed. Timmy, I raised people from the dead, and I could not even get the thorn out of my own flesh. So what happens when we have a contradiction of being powerful outwardly and there's a conflict inwardly? That's enough to make you want to quit. But the Apostle Paul said, even though I couldn't get the thorn out of my side, he said, I still finished my course. I finished my course with a God that said no to my prayer. I said, God, I need you to heal me. And he said, no. What do you do? What do you do when you're better on the outside than you are on the inside? What do you do? I can get rid of your thorn, but I can't get rid of my thorn. I can get rid of yours, but I can't get rid of mine. I can pray for you to get healed. I can lay hands on you, and we're seeing instantaneous healings and hearing of healings, and I can see that happen, but I'm still having to limp around on a crutch. I'm still got a cane and trying to deal with all of this in pain. So what in the world, what happens if you're not careful? That will make you say, you know what, I'm done. I surrender. I give up. But Paul said, oh no, you got to understand, I fought a good fight. Yeah, was it a fight? Yeah, it was a fight. I kept the faith. And you know what? I didn't give up. Even though I was laying hands on people and they were getting healed and I wasn't getting healed, I refused to give up. Isn't it amazing how we can be good at fixing other people's lives but be pathetic at fixing our own? We can counsel with other people and tell them how they should do it and really give them good advice. But we can't fix our own lives a lot of times. When you think about it, though, even Jesus struggled with finishing. Even he struggled. He goes to the Garden of Gethsemane and he prays and he said, Dad, this is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Can I quit? If it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Can I get out of this? 3 times he prayed. He said, help me finish this. Help me. Is there any way that I can get out of being me? Is there any way that this cup can pass from me? Is there anybody in this place tonight that has ever prayed, Lord, is there a way that I can possibly get out of being me right now? Is there any way? I mean, being me is not good right now. Being me is not all it's cracked up to be right now. Can I quit? Is there okay? Is it all right? I don't know if there's anybody in here, but I'm just going to be transparent with you tonight. There have been times in my life, and I mean in the last year, there have been times in my life that I've just wanted to say, hey, Daddy, can I quit? Is it all right if I just throw in the towel? Is it all right if I just walk away? I mean, I've been there a time or two. Now, I don't think none of you have, but I've been there. Can I just stop being me? And finally, Jesus says, however, not my will. In other words, he's saying, not my way of doing things, not my preference, not my pleasure, not like I want, but Lord, I want your will to be done. Think about it. Tomorrow morning, a lot of you will go to a job that's full of chaos, and you'll smile while you do your job because why? It's not about them. It's about you defying the urge to quit. Three times Jesus prayed, can I get out of being me? I don't know if you've ever been there. I've been there. Lord, can I get out of being me? Can I be transparent with you? Lord, I don't want to be a pastor. I don't want to be a pastor. I don't want to do that anymore. God, I don't want to have to go through the pain that I'm having to go through. I don't want to hurt like that. I don't want to feel rejection anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. God, is there any way that I can get out of being me? Can I get out of being me? And if we're not careful, we will try and get out of being us, but we have to adopt what Paul said, and we've got to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, it is a fight, but I fought a good fight. I kept the faith. I finished the course. Amazing story. In 1992, the Olympics at Barcelona, there was a gentleman, a young man, and some of you might have heard the story, named Derek Redmond. He had trained and prepared, as athletes do for these Olympics that come around, and he had trained. And in this moment, he was set out to win the 400-meter gold medal. And as he gets on the starting line and he gets down in the blocks, he's getting ready to run. His dad is in the audience and the crowd is cheering. If you've ever watched the Olympics, you know. And he is getting ready to take off, and as they take off, he is just pretty well set to win. But something happened midway through the race. He fell. He had pulled a hamstring. And you could tell he was in tremendous pain. You could see almost the tears in his face, and they were running out to help him. They had a stretcher, was going to pull him off of the track, and all of a sudden he got up and he started hopping. I mean, he was hurting so bad, but he was still hopping. If I could do it, I would. But I can imagine the pain, and he was trying to get around, and he was still doing it. Now, when you think about it, when you look at him and you think, man, why would he do this? I mean, he has no chance of winning. All the runners have already lapped him. It's over for him. It's finished. Everyone had gone to the finish line, but he was still hobbling along crying. Why would he do that? Because his dad was watching him. And before long, his dad came out. He was trying to make it around to the finish line. His dad came out, and his dad grabbed him and put his arm around his dad's shoulder. The race was over. Everybody was finished. It was done. It was all finished up. But his dad and Derek were still slowly coming around. And they were wanting to help him here. We will, Mr. Redmond, we'll get him out. We will help him. Just let him get up. And his dad was saying, just leave him alone. It's not about winning, it's about finishing. It's not about winning, it's about finishing. He said, I taught my boy that he needs to finish. I taught him, I don't care if it takes all night. You know what? We're going to make it across to the finish line. I taught him that you don't quit, you don't give up. Hear me right now. I don't care if it takes all night. I don't care if I have to cry. I don't care if I have to limp. I don't care what happens. I have decided that I'm going to cross the finish line. And guess what? Not only am I going to cross, I'm going to take everybody that I can with me, and we're going to cross the finish line together. Why? Because it's not who runs the fastest, but it's he who endures to the end. In other words, it's to the one that doesn't quit. Timmy, I didn't quit. You know what? There's going to be times that you're going to want to quit, but I didn't quit. I fought a good fight. I praised in the middle of a prison when I didn't want to, but I did anyway. I fought a good fight. Now here's the thing, hear me tonight. We may not come in first place. We might not have a trophy. We may not even be honored. We might not even be recognized. We might not even be appreciated. But you know what? It really isn't about all of that stuff. It is about us, and it is about a God that said he is the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. And so I want to finish the race. We might not look pretty doing it. We may not make the headline news. You may never see Love and Truth Craneville on the front of the news. You might not be seeing anything about us. You might, again, be saying, well, people might be saying, don't go, that's a place, don't even go there. There's a bunch of rejects that go there. But guess what? I'm here to encourage you tonight. Just keep hopping. Just keep moving. Just say, you know what? It doesn't matter. Well, I know, but everybody around us they're getting COVID. Well, it don't matter. I'm going to just keep hopping. Well, different ones are getting sick. Different ones are, I'm just going to keep hopping. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep hopping around. Why? Because it doesn't matter if I finish first. It doesn't matter if I look good doing it. All that matters is that I make it all the way to the end. That one day I can look at somebody and I can say, you know what, baby? I fought a good fight. I kept the faith. I finished the race. I was able to endure. So tonight, it might be tougher than you thought it would be. You might be here tonight and you say, you know what, Pastor, I'm not the best at anything, but you know what? Keep hopping till you cross the finish line. You say, why? Because I don't quit. Say that with me. I don't quit. Say it again. I don't quit. Come on, somebody say it again. I don't quit. I might not be first, but guess what? I don't quit. I might not have it all together, but you know what? I don't quit. People might talk bad about me, but I don't quit. Facebook might blow up about me, but guess what? I don't quit. There is no quit in me. I might not be the best preacher, but I don't quit. I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm going to keep seeing the things of God happen. I refuse to quit. And so I'm saying to you tonight, don't you dare, hear me, don't you dare quit. Look at your neighbor and say, don't you dare quit. You say, but I felt like it sometimes. Join the crowd, so have I. But don't you dare quit. You be a keeper of the faith. You be a keeper of the faith. You be a keeper of the faith. Why? Because hear me tonight. I want everyone to hear this tonight. And even on YouTube, I want you to hear this tonight. Do not quit because you make a difference. You do make a difference. I don't care. You say, Pastor, I've made all kinds of mistakes. It doesn't matter. You do make a difference. You make a difference in people's lives. You might be here and you say, I got a bunch of kids and I'm just tired. Hear me tonight. You do make a difference. You do make a difference. I don't care how insignificant the enemy has fooled you into thinking you are. Hear me tonight. You do make a difference. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. You do make a difference. Something would be missing if you weren't here. Something would be absent if you were not here. If you were to ever quit, guess what? Somebody would miss out. So I'm just saying to you tonight, Love and Truth Craneville, let's just keep hopping. Why? Because we do make a difference. We might not impact a big area, but we are making a difference in somebody's life. And I hope tonight, I hope you're feeling encouraged. Because the words that I have spoken to you tonight, I have needed to hear so many times in my life. I can't tell you the times that I was on the phone with Pastor Philip Meek. I can hear it clearly. He'd say, don't you quit, muchacha. That's what he'd always say. Don't you quit. Pastor Eddie. I can't tell you the times that I've talked to him. And he'll say, man, I know, just keep dreaming. Man, Pastor Eddie, man, it's tough. I know, just keep dreaming. Now, I don't want you leaving thinking, well, man, Pastor's really, no. I'm not saying it's often, but there are those times. There are those times when I need to hear this word. I need to hear somebody say, hey, Pastor, go on and keep hopping. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Don't quit. Don't quit. You all need to hear this, everyone. Don't quit. Don't quit, because one day you're going to be able to look around. You're going to be able to say, hey, guess what? I fought a good fight. I kept the faith. Oh, I don't think you will. Yeah, I did. I kept the faith. I finished the course. My wife and I were talking about this yesterday. I can't believe it. My wife and I made it. There were so many times, I can't tell you, in the last 19 years, I can't believe it's been 19 years that we've been here. There have been so many times over the years that we wanted to just walk away. We didn't have the resources that we do now. My goodness, I remember, and some of you might remember, I remember CD music. Some of you can't remember that. I remember Pastor Philip Meek saying, don't quit. There's going to come a day, and he prophesied that you're going to have a full stage. As my wife was picking CD music out for the next service, the transparencies, we would flip and we would be singing along, and some of them you couldn't sing the words because the words got smeared. And you weren't exactly what the next word was. And there were those times that we felt so inadequate, and I can't believe that it's almost been close to 20 years and we're still here. I can't, we're still here. And guess what? I'm glad we are. I'm glad we are. I'm glad that we said, you know what? We're not quitting. We're not quitting. I mean, we've had bruises and bumps. We've had our share of them. We've had pulled muscles. We've lost people along the way that we thought were with us. We've buried people that we thought were we were depending on. But guess what, baby? We're still here. I'm telling you, when I get this hip, I'm going to be taking a lap or two. You just won't get ready for that. We're still here. We're still here. Pastor, what are you saying? I'm saying don't give up. I don't know who needs to hear this tonight, but I'm telling you, don't give up. Don't you dare quit on me. Don't you quit. Keep the faith. As I said, as a church, we might not break any ribbons. We might not get any trophies. But when all is said and done, we're saying, you know what? We're not quitting. I still believe in miracles, signs, and wonders. We believe that what transpired in the last couple of weeks is just directly from Satan himself, because we have been seeing miracle signs and wonders happening. And I think today, I really believe today, the message that we got about healing was God just saying, see, don't quit. Because miracle signs and wonders are here. Don't quit. So I want us to stand. Here's what I want to do. If you're here and you say, you know, Pastor, I'm in a situation, and it can be whatever, and you say, I'm just tired. Doesn't mean you're going to quit, but I'm just tired. Have you ever just got tired? You're not going to quit. You just get tired. You just, there's times, and maybe with me, maybe that was more it than, I really wasn't wanting to quit. I was just tired. And there's times as a young parent, I know, you get tired. There's times that maybe some of us older ones, you get tired. You see what's happening around us. And you just get tired. You just say, man, Jesus, come quickly. That's why I was talking to my mentor yesterday. And I said, how are you doing? Here's what he said. He said, I'm just praying for Jesus to come back. Why is it? He's tired. He's just tired. And so if you're here tonight and you say, you know, Pastor, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to quit. I'm going to fight a good fight. I'm going to keep the faith. I'm going to finish the race. I'm going to do that, but I'm just tired. If you're here and you just say, I'm just tired. I'm just with everything, the world, just tired. I want you to just walk up to the front. And we're just going to pray. Man, this is awesome if nobody comes, because that means nobody's tired. Here's what it is. Everybody's afraid to be the first one. Because when the first one comes, then other people come. Done it too long. And you just get tired. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Here comes Gary. Gary is one of the nicest guys you will ever meet, and loves God with everything within him. He come up, he's just tired. Daniel and Danielle, great people. They're just tired. Anybody else that would say, I'm just tired. I'm not pastor. I love God. I'm not going to quit. I'm just tired. I just need some strength. And so I want us to pray. I need some guys to come and pray here with Gary, and some to pray with Danielle and Daniel. And we're just going to pray. We're just going to pray because we get tired. Here's what I know. If you're here tonight, and you say, you know what, I'm not tired, then pray for these that are. Because guess what? Next week, you might be tired. You might say, God, I need your strength. And so I need us to pray. I need you to minister. I'm going to pray, and then I'm going to step off the stage, but I need us to pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you right now. And Lord, I thank you for every individual in here that, Lord, they are keepers of the faith. And Lord, tonight, Lord, as these are here, maybe they're going through different personal battles or whatever it might be. Maybe they're just tired. Maybe, Lord, it's just different things that, Lord, have come their way. And so, Lord, I pray for strength. I pray for strength for them right now. Lord, that you're going to move in their behalf. Lord, let them know that tonight they do make a difference. Lord, by them being here, by them living, they make a difference. And so, Lord, I pray strength over them right now. Lord, I pray encouragement over them right now. Lord, that they know without a doubt, Lord, that they do make a difference in people's lives. And Lord, we're better because they're here. And so, Lord, we're trusting in you right now to help them, give them strength. Give them strength, Lord. In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Let's continue to pray, and let's sing and worship right now as well.